What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We got some Banshee fun going on today. Got some brake work, some intake work, some rear end work, all kinds of different stuff going on this Banshee. Dude wants some springs, some upgrades, V-force reeds, a new set of bars, some rear brakes. Oh yeah, rear brakes. Oh yeah, got the Lectrons too. Gotta love them Lectron carbs. So rear brakes. That plunger is pushed out way too far. That is problematic in a bunch of different ways. We put the new pads in it, and we found out that when we pushed the plunger back, we blew out an O-ring. So, in true Sawyer custom fashion, break it all apart. We were going to rebuild this caliper for the guy, but we had a brand new one on the shelf, so we just swapped out calipers. Now he's got an e-brake and a couple other parts. And we're doing the old tricky brake bleeding thing. Put the hose on it, hang it up really high, but there's that O-ring that blew out from the back side of the plunger. You can see the nipple sticking out the back side. Got to replace that caliper. Could rebuild it, but we'd have to wait on a rebuild kit. Seeing as how we got one on hand, throw the new one on, give the guy the old one so he can have some parts, and we continue on with the fixes and the buildings. You guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Really helps out the creator. Comments are always welcome if you've got questions. I do have a habit of making videos to answer questions. I will go through the time, set stuff up. Some questions are easier to explain by having something to explain it with. Other questions, I'll try and answer them in the comments. We also have memberships available. Really appreciate the first member that we've got. Hope more of you hit that membership button. Helps out the channel. When these videos don't go to very many people, the memberships are what help support the channel. YouTube's not paying nothing. $5 a month, less than a cup of coffee a day. You get access to extras on the channel. You also get access to free help, the Discord, and a couple other things. The higher the tier, the more access you get, the more stuff that goes on. Yeah, we don't have a ton of subscribers, so we're really hoping to get the subscriber counts up. Everything I'm doing in this shop is me, myself, and I. That includes recording, editing, and everything. There's no extra team, there's no editors, none of that stuff. So the videos are not going to be top tier videos. They're going to be me videos. We got over 1,000 videos on this channel as it is. Go through the channel. We got ride videos, build videos, how-tos, all kinds of different stuff on this channel. It has to do with motorcycles, off-road, and some car content. Lots of motocross stuff, lots of racing. We do have a 4-time Dade City Motocross Quad Champ as a sponsored rider. We've also got some dirt bike into 3-wheeler conversion builds. We got some quad into 3-wheeler conversion builds that are still in the works. All kinds of neat vintage stuff going on around here. This is a custom fab shop, race shop. We pretty much specialize in 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers. We dabble in cars, off-road other stuff, custom fab. You got some cool project going on that people tell you can't be done? Talk to me. Let's see what we can do. People were saying you can't invert a big red. Been there, done that. Took a little bit extra work to try and get things all situated, but there is an inverted Sawyer custom big red out there. Still waiting to get some videos from the guy of this thing running around. I heard it made it to Trike Fest, and I know it's made it to some of the local mud holes. These guys that get these builds don't like sharing the ride videos, though, that's for sure. We've got a Discord. We've got other social media presence. Go down to the description. All the different channels are there. We've got music. We've got aquariums. We've got gaming. Do all kinds of different stuff. Being that YouTube is so niche-based, we've got to keep everything pretty much separated out. As you can see right here, see the bubbles coming up? We're gravity bleeding this. Don't always do a whole lot of pump bleeds. Most of the time, I just gravity bleed things. Gives you time to go over the rest of the bike, make sure you're doing other things that need to be done while the brake system does its own little thing. As long as the brake system is in good condition, gravity bleeding is not that hard to do. Now you can see that brake rotor wobbling around there. That axle is wore out. The brake hub is wore out. All that should not look like that whatsoever. So dude's going to be getting a new axle, new brake hub. That's going to be in the future. Just stuff we found while we were working on this. Start breaking down these handlebars. Now these are fat bars with 1-inch standard to fat bar risers. So we're removing the fat bars, we're removing the risers. I found some top clamps from a Tri-Z that fit on the Banshee handlebar clamps. So we're going to clean those up and put them on there so that we can mount up the new bars. New bars are a little bit higher, a little bit skinnier. I'm not really a fan of the skinnier bars. It seems like the wider you make the bars, the more like power steering it gets. The skinnier you've got the bars, the harder it is to steer. You guys notice that with your handlebars? Do you guys like those flex bars? Have you ever ridden with flex bars? I've tried them. I've ridden a couple of customers' bikes with them. I am personally not a fan of flex bars. Not a fan of Lectrons either, but this thing's got them. Had to learn how to adjust them. They're really not that hard. Yes, I'm still calling them snake oil, even though I am a little bit experienced with them now. Proper jetting of a PWK or a Mikuni will get you the same results. What I'm noticing is people are getting these Lectrons, they're over-carbureting the snot out of their motor. This is a 350 Banshee, so you've got 175 cc's per cylinder, and he's running 38 millimeter Lectrons. Banshee's something like that, you should only be running about a 28, maybe a 30 mil. If you really want to push it, go to like a 32 or a 34. 38 is just way too much. His pipes are too small. If he had the bigger pipes, it would be a different story because things would be more balanced. When you're building these engines, you want to build them as a balanced engine. We used to call it balancing and blueprinting an engine. Haven't heard that statement in a long time. But it's the way I was raised. It was the way I was taught to build engines. If you're not doing everything, a little bit at a time will get you tiny gains, but then it's even harder to balance the engine. If you're going to build an engine, intake to exhaust. Make sure everything matches, everything is built to go together and work as a well-oiled machine. Now we're about 7 minutes into the video. I know I've probably lost at least 80% of you. Put a little smiley face or an emoji down in the comments. Let me know you made it at least this far into the video. If you make it all the way to the end, whatever I recommend at the end, be a sport. Throw it down in the comments. That way I know you guys made it to the end. I can see the analytics. I can see where people drop off. I understand if you don't like the voice or if this wasn't what you were thinking that you were going to get when you clicked on the video. These are build videos. These are mechanics videos. We talk, we joke around, we show you what's going on in the shop. Now here we're replacing the exhaust O-rings and springs. Got to pull the pipes off. In the process, while the pipes are off, we're going to be doing the reed cages also. As you'll see further on in the video, these reed cages were almost literally glued in place. I had to actually hit them with a pry bar and a hammer to knock them loose. Then I had to clamp, which is not in the video. I had to actually clamp the reed cages in a vise and use the end of a pry bar to pop the rubber intake manifolds off. I was at pucker factor of about 1 million at that point. I did not want to bend those intake manifold plates, because you bend the plate, it's done. Absolutely done. It won't seal again. Not a whole lot of room to work, especially considering I did not pull the carburetors all the way out. I just kind of pulled them off and kind of out the way. The least amount of work you got to do to get the job done means you're going to get the job done faster. The more you have to take apart, the more times you have to take it apart. It's just going to slow you down, make the job last longer. The longer the job takes does not mean you get paid more for it. A lot of these jobs I have set times on. Set fees, engine builds, top ends, cases split builds. Those are all set fees. It's not one of those by the hour kind of things, because these jobs can take a lot of time or they could take absolutely no time at all. So with set fees, it's not a time thing anymore, more of a chase the clock, which being in the dealerships as long as I was very used to commission and chasing the clock. It's the only way to get a 60 to 80 hour paycheck out of a 40-hour work week. Works great though. I know a lot of people, when I say something about getting paid commission, mechanics go through the roof and start laughing and joking around. I'm not paying some dude to poop on the clock. Not happening. Then again, the people that I've had come into the shop and try and help me out in a matter of a day have cost me more money than they would have made me in a week. So it's not worth it. That's why it's just me, myself, and I. You'll see Tony in here every once in a while joking around with his stuff. Rarely helps with customers' jobs unless it's a customer that he brought in, that he knows personally. Other than that, yep, they call me the mad scientist. That was a nickname given to me, not a nickname I gave to myself. These guys bring me problems. They bring me stuff to fix it out. There's not really a no in the repertoire. You bring me something, not hardly ever going to say no, unless it is something that is absolutely insane that I just don't have the ability to do. Be it I don't have the equipment, the machines, the know-how. I'm very experienced, but at the same time, the experience is in certain areas. I'm not a diesel tech. You ask me diesel questions, I'm gonna, I don't know. Diesels, no, not me. Not at all. 2 strokes all day long. 4 strokes, sure, no problem. Build car engines in my sleep. You'll build bike engines in my sleep. It's something that I've done pretty much my entire life. I was working on neighborhood lawnmowers at the age of 7 because I needed money. You know, kids, gotta buy candy. Candy's down the road. Mom, can I go to the candy store? Do you have any money? Let me go knock on some neighbors' doors, see if they need anything fixed, see if they need yards mowed. I've been on this property over 20 years. I have not once had a kid come up to me and say, hey, can I mow your lawn? I think those days are long gone. You guys, wherever you're at, do you still have the neighborhood kids trying to offer help? Or is that a thing of the past? You see me struggling here getting these intakes on the cylinders all cleaned up. That is a lot of black RTV silicone. I use Yamaha Bond, and that's it. Never will you see me using silicone on a motorcycle engine. It doesn't belong on a motorcycle engine. Yamaha Bond or nothing. Silicone has a tendency of shrinking. It does not heat and it does not expand and contract like regular gasket maker does. So therefore, if you've got something that's getting hot, expanding and contracting and moving around a lot, that silicone will break seal after a while and it'll start to leak. Doesn't matter what it's on. This guy was lucky. It was glued together. But that glue, if those nuts or those screws loosened up at all, that glue is only going to hold so long. The high frequency vibrations of these engines will absolutely wreck silicone. So with a little bit of razor blade action, we clean off the old gaskets, we clean the old glue off the intake manifolds, make sure everything is nice and smooth and flat. No, I'm not using the die grinder with a little cookie cutter to do these gaskets this time around. We're just playing with razor blades. Little risk, little reward. Gaskets go on nicely. Everything's going to bolt together really easily, making this job butter. Part swapping's not so hard. Just pull something off, throw something else on. It's the diagnosing that can really throw you for a little loop here and there. Dave come by with a blaster. We did a compression check on the blaster. And while we were kicking this thing, it made absolutely no noise until it hit about 100 PSI. Once it started hitting about 100 PSI, you could actually hear the wrist pin bearing rattling around in there. It was kind of neat to show him and his son how once you get pressure inside an engine, it will act differently. So just kicking a motor over and trying to spin it over by hand sometimes will show you one thing. Other times you need it running, you need pressure inside. Sometimes you got to do a leak down test. There's so many different ways to diag an engine. It's not really funny because bad things happen quick. And if you don't catch it, that's on you. You're the mechanic. You did the diagnosis. I did put a little video out there, a short, had to do with the brake system on this Banshee. I noticed something in the video. Nobody made a comment. Sometimes I leave things in videos for you guys to call out. Nobody calls it out. It's kind of sad. We do things to try and get some kind of response from you guys. This off-road community is so hard to get a response from. Triggering you guys, I almost have to ghost walk my three-wheeler off of a tabletop just to get some kind of comment. No, I'm not going to do that. Yes, I have thought about that, but I am not wrecking my 250R to get 5,000 views. Not happening. As you saw at the beginning of the video, somebody gave me a sign that says Assholes Garage. So, if you don't like the attitude, I'm sorry, not sorry. It is me. I am who I am. I will help out anybody I possibly can until you rub me the wrong way. And then I will turn into a piece of 40 grit sandpaper and become quite abrasive. It happens. I was raised by mechanics and fabricators. I've got the attitude of a mechanic and a fabricator. If you're not familiar with those attitudes, then that's on you. If you haven't been around those kind of people, chances are you really couldn't handle being around those kind of people because they'd make you cry. This is not a channel for melting snowflakes. This is a channel for people that like having fun, like joking around. They've got great senses of humor. They like razzing each other. Love off-road content. That's what we do around here. Show the builds. Pick on me on how I do things. Pick on the shop. This is not a multi-million-dollar shop. This is a me-built shop in my backyard. Been here 20 years. The shop has been growing and evolving for the past 20 years. Further on things go, the more it's going to evolve. I'm really hoping these YouTube channels take off, memberships pick up, and we can actually start doing some really, really cool stuff. Right now, we are budget limited. Can't make really cool stuff without money. And again, can't make money without doing really cool things. So it's a double-edged sword. So this is where I'm trying to get you guys to like things, comment, watch the videos as long as you can. I know these things are anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes long. You got to figure, though, I cut down anywhere from 4 hours to 3 weeks worth of content to try and fit in a short video that I can get people to watch. Showing you guys some of the aftermarket goodies that are on this Banshee. Don't look too bad. Duder said that the fronts are in storage and look horrible, so that's why they're not on there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, go ahead and throw the number 10 in there. Why? Just so I know you made it to the end. Appreciate everybody. Y'all have a great day.